Welcome to Let's Go. This is officially episode 11. I guessed 11 last time. I think it was 10. Now we're 11. We're in the top 10% of all podcasts in the world now.
Of the people have continued to do the podcast.
Yeah, correct. Everybody else quits.
That's right.
We're not quitters.
That's right.
Let's go. So this is going to be a short one.
This is Harrison, and this is Alivia for anybody that hasn't gone before. Yeah.
Boy, you don't know who I am? Jeez.
The funny thing is Lilly. So I'm Harrison Lilly, and my family calls me Lilly.
It's so weird to be on boat day, and I went to the river with her family, and they were all calling her Lily, and every time they said Lily, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like my nephew's like, Lily, yeah. So it's very interesting the fact I still think that we have to tie Lily in somehow. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like when I go out with my brothers, I used to like laugh and be like, I need a shirt that says I'm not with him, or that's my brother, or something like that, because.
Oh, me and my sister used to openly, like, me and her went out of town together. We couldn't, our parents were pastors, so they're mega strict. But they were under the assumption that me and my sister wouldn't do anything wrong together.
Yeah.
So, partners in crime, naturally.
Yes, absolutely.
It was a partnership by, what's the word I'm looking for? We had to have that partnership. I'm thinking in my head the word mandatory is not, but that's not necessity.
Compulsive necessity.
Yeah, partnership out of necessity.
Yeah.
Had to have each other so that we could have fun together. But people, like, we're 2 years apart in age.
Yeah.
Sister's a good looking girl. I am clearly made of just like America and beef, you know.
Yeah.
And so. People are like, "Oh, your wife." I'm like, "Sister, sister."
Well, I travel with my brothers, and I've got six brothers, and so I've literally had.
It's like one of them has to be your husband, right?
That's right. Well, I've had realtors think that I was married. They're like, "Wait, which are you married to, Avery or Chuck?" I'm like, "Neither." Like, you've known me for 4 or 5 years. How do you not know this? And so I blame them for being single. I'm like, people think I'm dating one of you guys, but I really have. But we go, like, Avery and I have, like, when I did both attempts to my 100-miler, Avery went with me. He was part of my road crew.
Yeah.
And even though I had other people there, we're close enough in age. But I'm telling, like, it's just crazy. So yeah, I get that. But so I think that's the same thing with you and I. If we do something with Lily, we got to figure out how to say, like, Lily, but not related, not together, but I do think the Lily concept is in there is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it should be Lily coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care.
Olivia's approach at Lily Coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll play with it.
We have so much to figure out.
So we've got today's video is going to be about 30 minutes.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit less. So what are we talking about? We've got to get to the heart of the matter quickly.
Yeah. All right. So do we want to go personal or business first?
Well, we just talked a lot of personal stuff that's not going to go on air. So
you're not going to see that portion.
No.
It's rated, I don't know, PG-13, maybe a slight R.
Yeah, if my mom's watching it, it's like...
It's X. Yeah, I wouldn't let my mom be a part of that conversation, which is likely why this is never going to get live.
Never going to go.
Both sets of my parents have to pass away before that goes public.
Yeah.
So we can go business for a second.
Okay.
All right. So I actually want you to coach me.
Okay.
Live. Here we go. All right. So I lost 3 listings this week. How many did we list this week? 5 or 6 or 7? I think 2 got pushed, so we went 5, live with 5. And then, but I lost 3. All right. 1 was not my fault. I'm gonna tell you what that was. So I go to a listing appointment. They called 3 brokerages, I believe. She interviewed. She was very educated. She had clearly read a book or been mentored by somebody on how to hire an agent, which was cool because I'm good with that. I'll put my numbers up against anybody. And so interview went great. Pricing consult went great. And then I knew what she was looking for after I did my follow-up on the pricing consult. So I did a video the day that she told me she was choosing an agent, and so that because she was very numbers oriented and she was an accountant. So I called her with accounting and I hit her with all the stats and the numbers and like, hey, we're going to sell it, statistically speaking, 35% faster for 2% more. And if you're selling a mobile home, the answer is extremely clear. I don't think anybody sells more mobile homes than we do. So she sends me back a text later that day. She said, hey, sorry so late. I had decided to go with a different direction. And I was like, okay. So my standard question, if somebody decides not to use me, is what could I have done to earn your business? Where did I lose you? Where did they win? And she sent me back a text, and she said, actually, you were great, that you were competent, your data was correct, I looked over everything, and you have the best track record. She said, but I don't like my dad, and my dad called you without my knowledge. And then because I told her, I said, hey, your dad called me randomly today. I don't know your dad, but apparently he knows me somehow. But hey, glad we know each other, like I thought that the referral would help. It did not. Her and her dad do not like each other. And so she said, if you know my dad, then I just feel like at some point that he has an ulterior motive in this thing for talking to you. And then he lied whenever I asked if he had reached out to you. So for that reason, I've decided not to use you because I feel like it's a conflict of my best interest. And I was like, that's fair, even though I have no idea who your dad is or why he called me or how he got my number. But I tried to rescue it. I made one last sales pitch. It didn't work. So anyway, we moved on. Do you agree that there's probably nothing I could have done there?
What is the outcome that you're looking for?
Well, so that's the one that I don't. There's one that I think that was unrescuable, and I think it's that one. Okay. Do you agree that one was not rescuable? Like that was just not meant to get that listing? You didn't listen, did you? No,
I listened. I think that the question is because you said you wanted me to coach you.
I did. So I'm running through all three scenarios. And because I've analyzed these, I don't like losing. If you know me, I hate losing. So I'm running through these with you to make sure that I'm coming at the right scenarios from a coach's perspective.
Okay, so that's so for clarity, that's where I want to start with is what is our end goal here? Because depending on what you're looking to get coached on.
I don't want to lose 3 listing appointments ever again.
Okay, what's your definition of lose?
I did not get the listing.
Okay. You did not get the listing. What causes that to automatically mean lose?
Because I do not get a paycheck, which is a loss.
Okay. Would you agree that if you took 100% of your listings, or an agent that takes 100% of their listings, what do we know to be true?
That they're undercommissioned, likely overpriced, and their success rate's probably
Okay. So if that's true, how can not taking a listing always be losing?
Because I don't like not being chosen, Alivia.
Okay.
I have rejection issues.
So this is
for my 13-year-old days.
So this is more about, do you feel like by her going somewhere else, you rejected?
I was her best option. She is likely going to list within $5,000 of my recommended list price. She was willing to pay the commission, liked everything we had to say, and I lose because she don't like her daddy. And
you feel like it was out of your hands at that point.
Yeah, so I'm asking from a coach's perspective, did you hear anything in that story where I could have done anything differently to win?
Okay.
Because I think she's a real seller.
Okay.
Like somebody, that wasn't an unreasonable person. Someone is going to sell her house.
Okay. So hindsight, always 20/20. So there is a possibility that, let's role play this. So she says what we're going to pick up from right there. She says what she says. And then, so your name's going to be Susie. Okay. So, Susie, what's your concern? Do you mind sharing with me a little bit more about your concern with your dad being involved in this transaction?
Yeah, me and my dad don't get along, and by him lying to me, I don't feel like, I feel like he's trying to undermine me in some way, and I don't even want to have the possibility of that. And so for that reason, I've just decided not to do business with you.
Okay. First off, I can't imagine how hard that is. I hate that you're even having to go through that. And you don't like the fact that he lied to you. I completely get that. What you saw whenever I brought that up to you is me demonstrating that I'm on your side and that
I should have said that.
Yeah. And now,
I didn't say that. So I'll tell you what exactly.
Yeah. Now, so this is the interesting thing. That doesn't guarantee, and yet you actually demonstrated that you're on her side. I think you have the possibility that you might have been able to take that into questions and getting her, and then, but I demonstrated that I'm on your side. This other person that you go to, they now haven't had this conversation with you. They don't know that your dad may call and you need somebody like me that now that you've told me this, I'm strong enough and confident enough that you trust that other agent can shut your dad down because I can.
Yeah. So I wish I would have said that, actually disclose that to you, because I wanted to show you that how honest I am. I don't know if that was going to help me or hurt me, but I wanted you to know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't say it. I wish I would have, because that was a layer deeper than what I went here. So I said it makes a lot of sense. I didn't know there was any animosity there, so I apologize if I put you in a bad spot. I can assure you, my name and reputation mean more to me than any commission check. There will always be another house to sell, but I may never get the opportunity to make up for a tarnish in my last name. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the honest and heartfelt response. It means a lot that you took the time to send that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I were going to, and this is the thing, is there's no way of knowing if we would have went on a different level if you would have got that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though, so I think, though, that so often we do tend to explain or apologize, and an apology can be huge when appropriate. Mm-hmm. But the first place we may need to go is that level deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. I really wish I would have gotten her on the phone though. And at that point, hey, could you take a call with me?
Yes.
Because I thought I was dead in the water. Now I did want to go a level deeper and take one more shot, and I did. But if I'd have gotten on the phone and said, hey, just thank you for give me the opportunity, and I didn't know there was any animosity, but I hope that what I've shown you is that I would like for you to reconsider, because did anybody else have to go through this circumstance, and would they have told you the truth?
Yeah.
And so now that I am 100% transparent with you, and I'll always keep your best interest in mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that would be the only other, again, these are possibilities of picking up the phone and calling her, or stopping by her house. One of my favorite, whenever I used to lead Bold, Diana Kokoska's story, and I loved it. You may not remember this, but she represented a builder, and the builder wanted everybody that bought from him to list with her, or at least give her the ability. Mm-hmm. So, but she was out showing another property when the person came through and looked at the property. Well, there just happened to be an agent there, and that agent said terrible things about Diana. So whenever Diana called and said, hey, I know that you were here and that you want to buy that, and the builder would like me to talk with you about listing your house. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh no, we've heard terrible things. And Diana says, basically, they were, you're the devil. Mm-hmm. And so Diana, and they wouldn't have any. So Diana showed up at their house, knocked on their door. And when they answered, she's like, hey, I'm Diana. I just wanted you to know that I don't have a pitchfork and devil horns. Yeah. And they laughed. And then she was able to have that conversation. So I think, that would be another possibility. And yet I think just go deeper, ask questions, don't assume.
Well, I was definitely humanized. The girl knew who I was, that she specifically called the company and said, I want to meet with Harrison. Mm-hmm. Because I was overbooked this week. So really Sam should have went on the appointment, but she specifically asked for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So next one.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, so this is the other, because again, you said coach you.
Yeah.
What caused you? Yeah. What caused you to wait 3-4 days to have this conversation with me versus when that text happened?
Oh, for you, so this is real time as my personal coach. This is not role play.
No, didn't you
Well, it all happened yesterday. Okay. So I'm actually not waiting 3 or 4 days. This is actually less than 24 hours.
Okay, good.
And I got that message at 5.
Okay. And next time, maybe.
You send you a text and go, hey,
you have 2 minutes, because we could have maybe gone a little deeper.
Because she's a real seller, and I would have sold the house for her, guaranteed.
It's just having that second perspective.
Yeah. I had 30,000 50. All right. So next one. All right, this one I said no to. So I actually did not get the listing.
So you didn't lose it.
Well, I didn't get the listing. I didn't lose it.
You chose not to take it.
I'm not your guy.
You did. You mentioned this one at lunch yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is good for other people to hear. And I think consumers should hear this too. One of the biggest issues I've been having in home sales lately, and I don't know where this behavior has come from, because it's more prevalent now than ever. And maybe it's because internet technology it's so prevalent, the auto pricers and stuff like that. You can use Zillow, you can use whatever. By the way, if you go look at Zillow, it gives you a disclosure that they're
at the very
pricing,
bottom that says,
it's in really tiny print, that says that they'll be up to it's actually a really large percentage off of what a home could be worth.
And we'll post it right here. Mm-hmm. Connor will post it right here. The gentleman that back then he was. I don't know that he's still the head of Zillow, but his house on Zillow showed a way different price than he listed it with an agent. Mm-hmm. So just thought that was interesting.
Well, that and so if Zillow is,
and price is only price is a big factor in selling your house.
It's 80%.
It's 80%.
Yeah,
but it's not the only price, and there's negotiations and all that.
Yeah. But also, if Zillow is so good at pricing houses, then why did their home buying service shut down? It's because they lost almost $500 million and had to lay off 3/4 of their staff 2 years ago because they are not that good at pricing houses. And for everyone here living in Northeast Louisiana, Zillow doesn't know where you live. You are a blip on the planet to them. We are small beans, small potatoes. Why do you think all these national companies do not come here? There ain't enough money. There ain't enough commission. You guys think you're paying a lot of commission, and you're not. You're paying beans. They care about the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million markets, the average of $500,000 and $600,000 price points, because that's where the money really is. They do not specialize in Northeast Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I think one Zillow rep in the entire time because if they're coming in town, they're calling me. I promise. They're coming to see me, and they've only been in town one time in my tenure as an agent, which is 8 years.
Yeah.
So in 8 years, one person from Zillow has been here, and by the way, has nothing to do with home prices or anything. He is a salesperson wanting to sell me more partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So the next one, go on a listing appointment. Their house has been on the market for a year, 370 days, actually. They did List with Freedom. If you guys don't know what that is, you can buy an MLS number. You get no representation, but your home is on MLS. They have like less than a 15% success rate. So if you're considering List with Freedom, I hope you like your mortgage notes. So he did that for 6 months, and then he listed with a new agent because he got a reduced commission. Of course,
sometimes you get what you pay for.
But I would say most of the time you get what you pay for, but that's just me. So go to the listing appointment, but this is just directly with his wife. Everything went really well. The wife knew me, knew Chris Rux. So it was a really friendly appointment. It didn't have to be really professional. It was just like, hey, let's see the house.
Well, friendly and can go with professional.
Oh, yeah. No,
you just mean like it wasn't formal.
Yeah, we were there for 30 minutes. We played with her kid for 15. We talked to her about business for 10, and we called up for 5, and like life was good. And so
the husband was not there, though.
Husband was not there, but that is who I was price consulting with.
That's
so
first problem.
What? He was out of town. There was no way. I wasn't getting all decision makers. He has a mobile job, and but that is who I got on the phone with. And I've met the husband before. Super nice guy. So I don't care. He didn't listen with me anyway. So anyway, I put together the pricing plan. It was very straightforward and economically sound. There's 5 homes listed in the subdivision. All comparable within 100 square feet of each other. 3 are new construction. 1 is their next door neighbor. And the next door neighbor just dropped, so the new constructions all dropped their price to $299. Okay. Their next door neighbor, which is not new, and the whole subdivision is newer construction, but lived in, right? They were at $315. They were nuts over comps, but they did hire a new realtor. This realtor works her tail off, but she's new. Hadn't quite figured it out yet, but she's trying to tail off. I'm proud of her. All right. And then so they were massively overpriced, but they just did a huge price reduction. They went down to $295, which good on that agent because she saw the market and got them to make an adjustment. Good on her. And so my people have already been on the market for a year, and I said, this is what it's going to take. I'm asking for $285 because we need to be different than new construction. And I said, but the highest you need to be is $295. Now, if you want to go after $295, I'll do the absolute best I can. But I do want to let you guys know what's realistic because there's only I can't remember what the absorption rate was, but I think if we're lucky, 2 houses in that subdivision will sell this year. And so get on the phone with him, go over all of this, and he said, all right, man, well, let me just tell you. And he put on this brazen voice, though. Like, it wasn't soft and bubbly like I just did. He's like, he dropped his tone, went monotone with me. All right, man, well, let me tell you where I'm at. We're going to list at 305, and you're going to take a 60-day listing agreement. And because my last realtor didn't, so I'm not signing a 6-month agreement with anybody. And I was like, all right, so I want to be just very honest with you and very upfront, sir. We want to be overpriced. We want to be the most expensive comparable in your neighborhood, even above new construction. And then you want me to do it in 60 days. I said, I'm going to ask nicely, is there any movement in what you just said? He said, not even a little. I said, respectfully, I'm not your realtor. And he said, okay, bye. Click.
Yeah.
Hung up on me. So his wife sent me a text. I don't know, about an hour later. She said, I'm so sorry, ... And I was like, it's okay. Thanks for the opportunity. I wish y'all the best of luck. And I do. I hope he proves me wrong.
That's right.
Probably not, but I hope he does. All right. So what do you think about that one?
Okay. So, can we start with the role play? Now, let's start with, you got him on the phone. Okay, so you're going to be George. I've got you on the phone.
Jorge.
Okay, and I'm going to say, so Jorge had the opportunity to go look at your house, talk with your wife, and I've done some numbers. I haven't had an opportunity to talk with you, so I've got a few questions before we go into everything. Tell me a little bit about, you've been on the market for a while. What are what's causing y'all to sell right now?
We've already bought a new house.
Okay.
Carrying 2 notes.
Ouch. Okay.
But I don't have to sell.
You don't have to sell. Okay. So if it doesn't sell, what will you do?
I don't know. We may rent it at some point or something.
Okay. Yeah. So how long do you have before it becomes an issue?
I mean, we've been going at it a year so far. So I'm going strong.
Okay. So in a year, so you've already lost, even if your house note was just $1,000, you've already lost $12,000. Ouch. Okay. So now you want to sell. You don't have to sell. Magic wand. How quickly would this thing be out of your hair? I mean,
we're ready to sell for the right price.
For the right price. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about because I know you've had it on the market at $315 or whatever. Where did you get that price from? What does that price mean?
Just a mixture of, what my other realtor said and what I think.
Gotcha. Okay. But has it been appraised for that? Did you pull comps?
No. Just my other realtor said it was reasonable.
Oh, the other realtor, they didn't sell it?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to sell it for the price that the market will bear today?
I will sell it for $305 and not a penny less.
For $305. And so if the market won't bear that,
then I guess I'm just going to keep making notes.
I'm going to keep making. Hey, look, and you know what? Fair enough, because that is an option. So let me show you, and this is probably where I'd probably get them on Zoom, because if I know that they're stuck on a price, I'm going to say, are you familiar with these 5 houses?
He is, yes.
Okay. So if you were a buyer and you were looking at these houses, you have this or that. Which one would you make an offer on?
I mean, for the same price. I did walk them through this. Yeah. I was like, well, I mean, if the price is higher or the same, I'm going to go with the new construction.
Yeah.
I always try to put people in there. Sorry, I'm pausing on the role play, but hey, let's think like a buyer. I got 5 houses, 3 are new construction, 2 are used construction with marks on the wall and used appliances and scuffs and things like that. Good shape, but still used, right? And so if all things are the same, then which one are we going with?
Yeah.
Go with new construction. It's got a builder's warranty and everything.
Yeah. So even from your perspective, if you were buying today, you would buy that other house at the less price.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I actually did that with his wife via text.
That's the challenge that I'm hearing. It was the wife and not the husband.
Yeah. Well,
nobody can
he
sell.
wasn't having a conversation.
Yeah.
He was quick, and then as soon as he felt any adversity at all, he was wow.
Well, then do that with me.
Yeah.
Let's pick up from where he says, I'll tell you what, 305, right?
Yeah.
And because this is, I do think there's a difference of, and the question that you asked, that's a great question. Is there any wiggle room, or is there any need for further conversation? So when he says, so you say that to me about the 305 or whatever, we'll pick it up right there.
Whenever I asked that question to him, so I'm now the agent.
No, I'm going to be the agent. You're going to say the 305.
My number's 305, not a penny less.
Okay, so Harrison, I'm
only signing a 60-day contract because agents don't work.
Hey, look, after the experience you have, I can completely understand that.
Yeah.
So look, I actually have a 24-hour clause. Cancellation clause. If at any point you're not happy with what we're doing, we'll cancel in 24 hours. 60 days doesn't bother me.
I have that. That's in our script. It's quite literally in our script.
Yeah.
And I didn't say it.
Yeah. Now, so that now we've got that objection off the table, right? So now let's talk about price. You have a price in mind that you'd love to sell it for. Heck, I'd love to sell it for you. But we don't set the price. The market does.
Correct.
And so I'd rather turn you down now than let you down later. You want to hire an agent like me that knows the market, knows what's going to take to cause it to sell, and your price isn't going to get it sold. Not in today's market. Now, if you're willing to hold on to it for another 5, 6, 7 years, it could go. I mean, because our prices are steadily
We're going to catch up sometime.
We're going to catch up sometime.
Yeah.
And again, I'd rather turn you down now than let you down later.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Now, could that? Now, I'm not. That might have Gotti. We're just looking at
it was
what
a
are some
little
other
softer,
options.
and I'm gonna say that maybe my ego got a little involved. Like, I really hate it. I hate it. So guys get on the phone, especially I don't have to sell line. I'm like, you're not proving anything to me financially other than you're a poor financial manager.
Yeah.
Because if you break, and I really just want to say that to some people, because I get it, I'm a realtor, but I am pretty damn good at managing finances and understanding like, hey, yeah, I might be taking less, but what am I saving by taking less?
Well,
So
this is the deeper conversation.
I call people dumbasses all the time.
Well, so this is the deeper conversation. First off, I tip my hat to you for asking the question and then going, okay, there was some ego involved, right? Because the way in which you see the problem is the problem.
Right.
So you saw that as him saying something that triggers you, him kind of having this hard line. And so you stepped out of...
I stepped out of empathy.
You stepped out of empathy. You stepped out. You also stepped out of your
Bruno
own...
could even feel it over
That's
here.
right.
Like, Dad.
You stepped out of your own conversations. You stepped right, and you. So that's the big learning piece here.
I think I started making statements instead of asking questions, because that's really, I think, the difference in our conversations. There is, I asked one last question. I was like, "Then I'm not the realtor for you." I made a statement, and I should have asked another question. So I'll take that. I'll take that. That's good coaching. Yeah. Good job, Alivia.
Well, I can't coach unless you're willing to look at things differently, right?
Yeah.
None of this is a guarantee one way or the other, and yet you have a different perspective.
Right. It's like shooting free throws, right? I'm just going for the highest effective percentage possible, because it's really not like scoring the listing is not a score, and I wish agents would understand that. It's only when you score a sellable listing and can close on it is when you actually score. Otherwise, it's actually an L. It's an L if you spend any money on your people whatsoever. Which, if you read my Facebook post, you'll notice that some people don't. So you should ask that question. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and so the deeper thing, if we were going to go deeper with this coaching, it would be where the ego is showing up and what bothers you about that line, and how can we unattach you from that line so that you're not triggered.
Yeah. Well, so what triggers me is people. So I don't care if you have an opinion. That's fine with me, because we all have that. And look, my opinion may be valid, but it doesn't make it right. Right?
Just different perspectives.
That's correct.
You see a 6, I see a 9.
Yeah. And so I had that problem today. I was putting stickers on a jet ski, and I was like, is it a 6 or a 9? I don't know. So I just guessed. Hopefully the game warden sees it the same way.
Yeah.
All right. So I hear this line a lot. I said earlier, like, there's this huge problem in the market today, and it's that sellers are picking this crazy price, and they're just like, if it doesn't sell for this, I'm not selling. Or they have goals, and obviously the motivation and the goal isn't big enough, right?
Or you haven't tapped into it.
Yeah. But it's also this, I don't need to sell, but I know the situation. And what you're calling don't need to sell is I can float it longer. But like, if you literally take your AM schedule on what you're paying for your insurance and your taxes, and what you're paying on interest, and what you're paying on repairs and upkeep, because nothing disintegrates like a house with no one in it. Nothing. And you take all that and you go, I am quite literally losing money per month. It doesn't matter if you can float it. I can float a lot of it, but it makes me a poor money manager to let my ego override that decision. the difference in 295 and 305 for this guy, he's been on the market for 12 months. If he were to look at how much interest he paid over the last 12 months, plus utilities, plus yard upkeep, plus upkeep on the house.
Logic.
This dude has dropped. I'm going to say he has lost in the last 2 years. I'm sorry, in the last year. That's a $300,000 house, and he did not buy in low interest rates. So you're talking about probably a 5 or so, you know. I'm going to take a strong guess and say this dude's losing $1,200 to $1,300 a month.
Yeah.
And so, boom, now we have our difference. But you're willing to hold on to it for another 12 months because of your damn ego.
Well, so this is the interesting thing, and yet now ego hits ego.
Well, so my ego is not so much. It's like it's almost like you're intelligent. You make enough money to float 2 notes. You're not an idiot, right? This dude makes good money.
Yeah.
And yet, pen to paper doesn't make sense to you because you won't get out of your own way.
Emotion versus logic.
Yeah.
All of everything that you said right there is logic.
Mm-hmm. I am logical. That's the way I approach 99% of my decisions.
Well, you think you do. But human nature is proven time and time again. Emotion, and then we use logic. Emotion makes a decision. We use logic to justify.
I mean, I think that everything...
You're using them. You're doing it right now.
Numbers and commas.
Yeah. But you're doing it right now.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah, it is. But we have to get there from the emotion first. Because the thing is, so you got triggered. Mm-hmm. That was emotion. And then you justify that emotion with your logic.
Yeah. I still think he's wrong.
He might be.
I can prove it. I can prove it.
I know. Well, but it's because now, right, wrong, mm-hmm. We're on opposite sides. We're not on the same team.
I just want to throw my can at you right now.
Yeah. You got to get over there with him, right?
Yeah, no, I guess it's just frustrating to me. And this is wrong of me. I'm not saying that this is a correct behavior.
Right or wrong. It's just what is and where do we want to go with it? How is this helping? Is this helping you or hurting you?
Right. My frustration is that I am not your average realtor. Not even damn close. Like, I'm excellent at finances. I'm excellent at pricing. I'm not perfect. Like, I'm a human. I've made mistakes, believe me. And yet, like, I can, like, the X's and O's make sense. Mm-hmm. The ones and the zeros are aligning. We have programmed success. And yet, they like will treat that advice like, just a realtor, because realtors have a scumbaggy name. They really, it's
it can, but it's also though going back to where you said you're excellent at pricing, mm-hmm. You're excellent at selling. I would agree with all of those things. Mm-hmm. Where would you put yourself? From a scale of 0 to 10, mm-hmm. with communication, with empathy, with being on their side of the table.
Calculated empathy, I would give myself probably a 7.
When you
like in my average life, I am not extremely empathetic.
See, and
people close to me would know that.
Yeah. Well, so interesting enough, I actually think the people that you care for. Mm-hmm. And you care about, you have an amazing ability to be empathetic with them.
Because I want to help and invest in them to the point where I'm an enabler, honestly.
Well, and yet when you have somebody that triggers you,
mm-hmm. I want them to fall off a cliff.
So we've identified an opportunity to look at things differently, because that's all it is, right? So the problem... how you see the problem is the problem.
Yeah.
So now we just discovered an opportunity, because can you imagine where you will be when you can say the communication and the empathy is as high as your pricing and your selling ability?
Yeah. I think I am, I'm not going to say I'm a great communicator. I would give myself a 7 to an 8 on communication.
Compared to what?
What do you mean? I'm not afraid to have a hard conversation. I don't like conflict, but I'm not afraid of it. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with talking about my feelings and being honest with people. I did today. Like yesterday, last week, they got an offer, it was exactly what I told them they would get, and they got it. I got all of it, every penny. It was great. No concessions, no nothing. And they went, no, I'm not taking the offer. Mm-hmm. And they heard me. I just kind of chuckled, and they went, I know you want to say something, just say it. And I said, how the hell did you let me list your house and waste my time and money if you're not going to take a market value offer? And they went, I don't have to sell. And I was like, oh, I hate you guys.
Well, so
one more person tells me I don't have to sell, we may fight.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so that's the ticket though, right? Yeah. So it may be that you're all of those things, but when I say the communication piece, who would you say is a great communicator that you would rate a 10?
I don't know that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then what's your definition of communication?
Charles is a good communicator.
Okay. What's your definition of a good communicator?
Someone who speaks honestly and effectively.
Okay. Effectively. In these situations that we've just talked about, would you say that you were effective? You proved a point, but were you effective? Did you move you or that other person forward?
All right, so situation number one, I wish I would have asked more questions, and I think that's where I
had an opportunity.
Effectiveness, because I think I could have upped my chance of making that free throw, right? Opportunity number two, I think I did make a point. I think I could have gone a little deeper. I should have broke out AM schedules. I should have gotten the final, like, hey, before I meet with you, because I know this is where you're at, I need you guys to give me what's your insurance, I'll look up your taxes, what's your note, and please send me your AM schedule. And then let's go over some things together. Yeah. And now let me show you mathematically absorption rate. Now, I don't know if it would have got me anywhere with that guy, but I think I would have upped my chances because that would have been a higher level of communication. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Yeah, because I'm good at those things. Like, in fact, I'll tell you what, maybe that's a skill. Like, I need to go over that stuff again with people. So when the market was down before COVID, so we're talking 2019 prior to COVID, the market was tough. Like, this is where I won because I am not afraid to tell a seller they're bringing money to the table. In fact, I'll walk them to the bank and I'll help them get a loan. I have actually had people go get a loan to buy themselves out of the house and pay me my full commission on top of that because I am, at that point, I am a consultant. I am showing you mathematically where, hey, look, I don't know where the bleeding's going to stop on your house, but I can promise you this. It's still going to bleed. Yeah. But right now, if you're willing to go get a check for $15,000 from the bank, now I know when the bleeding ends.
Yes. Well, and
now we can calculate how this ends.
And the thing, I've had to do that, and the person hugged my neck at closing because nobody else would have that conversation. So it's great that you'll have that conversation, but you can only have those conversations with people that you're on their side of the table. Y'all are in hand in partnership.
Yeah. But I think that's going to come through effective communication, and they have to feel empathy.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate you so much. I need more drink. All right. So third situation, because we are actually already over time.
Right here. Yeah.
But I think this is good, though. I think somebody's going to enjoy this. Some people are going to hate me, but that's okay. They didn't use me here. I may have to move to Shreveport after this episode.
Well, or I really do think it shows growth that you're like, hey, because you could have, when I asked that question, you could have said, no, that guy's just a jerk. You're like, oh, shit, I have an opportunity. It might be me, you know? And yeah, he could still be a jerk.
Oh, no, I still think he's a jerk. And the opportunity was, could I have been more effective?
Yeah.
Could I have upped my percentage of hitting that free throw? I think the answer is yes. All right, last scenario. This is a reload. We get a reload call. So in reload, they typically call two realtors to go in an interview with you. They have to fill out their BMAs, broker price point opinions, and stuff like that. And then the prices, their suggested prices, have to be within 5% of each other, or they call a third realtor. I'm the third realtor coming in. And so I know this about that. And I also know most reloads, the seller is saying, hey, like, I have this friend who's an agent. I just want to use them. So the other person is just coming, and they're just a patsy. They just come to waste their time. So I asked the guy, I said, hey, are you actually open to interviewing? Because it's a weekend, and I would rather spend time with my friends or family on a weekend than doing something where somebody's never going to list with me anyway. Yeah. So I'd like for you to be honest with me. Are you open to interviewing with me? Are you open to what I had to say? And he said, and he hesitated. I should have heard it, and I should have just said no. But I'm going to go take my shot, right? So he said yes. And so I go out there on a Saturday, and which by the way, I don't mind working on Saturdays. This is a Saturday. I have been working since 6 a.m. I had almost put $1 million under contract this morning.
Well, and that's what, you came in this morning. You're like, free and I'm crushing it, you're excited.
Yeah, I'm crushing today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, put $1 million under contract before noon, do content with you, and I'm about to take one of our top agents to Caney for his birthday, treating him to a weekend with his wife, and we're going to have a blast. It's going to be great. And so anyway, I love working on Saturdays. I'm absolutely cool with it, but don't waste my time on a Saturday. So anyway, so I go over. It's a mobile home. It is not attached to the land. I'm not even sure there's an active demobilization. And he does not have the appropriate foundations for any government-backed loans. No one had talked to him about active demobilization. No one had talked to him about retrofit, the cost therein. And if you guys don't know this or not, mobile manufacturer and modular sell differently, have different loan programs, have different interest rates, have different closing costs. Not all lenders can do them, and you need vendors to do all of the stuff. We do so many of those that we just know what other people don't. We do have all those vendors, and we have in-house counsel, so we can take care of all that stuff for people. We also loan money to people to make those things happen before closing so they can get to the closing table. So I meet with them. I go over all that. I crawl into his house and check his foundation. I do all this. And I was like, man, did anybody else have this conversation with you? He's like, nobody. I don't even think even knows what this was that I interviewed. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is just something that we really do specialize in. I would not call I'm not a mobile home salesperson, but we are very good at it. We understand how mobile homes sell. And so he was like, man, he goes, you have just laid so much knowledge on me. He goes, nobody else knew this. Nobody else educated me. I really appreciate this. I'd like to see your numbers, but I'm relatively positive. He's like, we're just going to list with you. Shook my hand, walk out the door. Life's good. Get the BMA over to the reload company. I get an email within 30 seconds. They've chosen another realtor. Have a good day. Mm-hmm. So pause. So in between the BMA, sending the BMA in and the thing, as soon as I sent it in, I called the seller and I said, hey man, I want to let you know, I got the BMA in to the reload company. I was curious, should we go ahead and get you on schedule to get you listed next week? And he goes, well, so this other realtor, they've sold like the last 3 of my homes. And I was like, okay, cool. And I said, well, man, you talked about that no one else knew the things that we knew and that I educated you on everything. He's like, yeah, you educated me. And I was like, got it. And I said, well, do you have any questions? Is there anything else I can do for you guys, as you were making your decision? And he said, no, just me and my wife are going to talk. And I heard the downswing in the voice. I already knew I didn't get it. And so anyway, fast forward 30 minutes later, get the email from the reload company. I sent him a text and I just said, hey man, thank you for the opportunity. Same text. I ask everybody blanket text every time I lose or don't get it. Is there anything else I could have done during your business? He ghosted me, did not respond. Mm-hmm. Did see his house hit the market today. Those are some really nice iPhone pictures.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Anyway.
So, knowing what you know now, looking back on it,
I would have went and had fun instead of going to his house.
Okay. Or if you had to go to his house, what would you do different while you were there?
So you know what I didn't do there? I didn't present. Mm-hmm. Should have presented. So for those of you who don't know, we actually have a professional listing presentation. It goes over our marketing plan, how we price, what we do, all of our support staff and what they're doing for you in the background, call center, allowances, all that stuff. I gave them, it was a Saturday. I wanted to get the hell out of there. Yeah. And honestly, after I went over the reason I didn't go grab my laptop was because after I went over retrofit and active demobilization and just laid the knowledge down on him, after he told me, he's like, man, I think we're just going with you. Shook my hand. I was like, in the bag, I'm out, going, Yeah. I had a meeting with a client going to see some $1 million properties. I was excited and So
what did you lean on in that entire, the entire time you were with him? What did you lean on?
Charisma and knowledge.
And what do we know? People don't know. They don't care how much you know until they know what.
How much you care.
Do you know his motivation? Do you know his... What was his motivation?
He's being reloaded to Bentonville, Arkansas.
That's what's happening. That's not his motivation.
His motivation is strictly price for him.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, you said motivation is not price.
Nope.
I disagree, but...
Nope. Those are all the things that help you get there.
Okay. I don't know the answer.
What's his pain point?
He didn't have one. He said he'd keep it because I gave him my high range and my low range.
Yeah, but
he said your low range. He said that place will rot before.
Yeah, but
he doesn't have a financial pain point. He makes good mony.
Yeah,
he lives in a trailer, but makes a ton of money.
Yeah, well, that's in our area. Like
that's not indicative of anything.
No, I've got a cousin that she just bought like a double wide. Oh my god, like
They're nice.
I want you tear my house down and put it. I mean, it's freaking awesome.
There's double wides that are nicer than anything I've ever lived in.
Yeah. But so this is the thing though but go back to, I think we have to go all the way back to when you're pre-qualifying before you go out to the appointment.
Yeah.
So Harrison, take all the information. So Harrison, if what I say today makes sense, are you prepared to list your house with me? And he's probably going to say no.
He said yes.
Well, hold on, but he said
yes at the appointment.
No, but he said, well, I have this other, maybe, right?
Well, so I didn't know. He never disclosed to me that he had sold multiple houses with the other.
Did you ask?
Agents. Why would I ask that question?
Because it's on our pre-qualification.
It's not on mine.
It should be. Have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Should be one of the questions.
See, I don't ask that question.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask that question.
You do. Because how much better would your presentation be if you knew they were considering it
to the objection?
Yeah.
That's fair.
The whole pre-qualification is me trying to find out their playbook.
So I specifically talked to Melinda about the other day. So she sent me on an appointment. I had no idea that it was competitive appointment. So if it's competitive appointment, it is 100% of the time you're presenting. You have no option. You go through the full presentation because you never know what the other realtor's saying that's going to give you the edge, right?
When even though this is the kick, because I've seen your presentation, it's great. Mm-hmm. The challenge with it, I don't think you have, some of this is a presentation challenge, yes. Mm-hmm. You're not asking, you're leaning all knowledge, no emotion.
I'm not emotional.
You're full of You're a person.
But I'm not an emotional human.
Harrison, no, because you're reading emotion as like I'm crying.
As I yell at you.
That's right. I'm not emotional. But wait, because you're thinking emotional like, well, hell, because I promise you, at some point in your life, you said whether it was a car or something, you said somebody pissed you off, thou burn before I'll sell to you, or something to the equation.
I told somebody I'd kill him recently.
Okay, so you have emotion.
Well, if you steal a lot of money from me, it's a natural reaction.
Well, it's emotion. But I think it's sometimes we think about emotion.
I did not kill them, and if that person comes up dead,
I do it. But so that's this will be, because I know we have to wrap, but we just I need you to be. Are you on the same page as me? What have you learned here today? Even if you don't want to, what's that thing that you know that you learned that you don't want to say?
No, it's not. So I know,
or not learn,
but it's back to that same statement where you've been correcting me on this for probably months now, and it's show up not show up like a beginner.
Yes, what's
the word that you?
A beginner's mind.
Yeah. Show up with a beginner's mind, and I do think probably one of my biggest struggles in real estate. I think that some of my boredom comes through this. Is that I transactionally have done more transactions than 99.9% of all realtors on the planet. Our statistics are staggeringly higher than others.
And right now that's hurting you?
Probably, because I'm
Not probably.
Yeah, definitely. Did we identify that 3 times in a row? We did. So
what's your next steps?
To hire someone that's nicer than me.
No.
I think that's the step for me.
No. What's your next step? Because this doesn't just show, everything shows up everywhere. We think it's just here or there, but I promise if we went far enough, this would show up.
It shows up in some of my partnerships as well. Yeah. So it's for some of our, I don't want to call them junior partners, but our younger business partners, people who have a little less experience. So I'll give you an example. Me and Charles and Zelmo, in our flips and rentals and any investments that we do together, we don't argue ever. We have conversations. We're working on a deal right now. Is that a really big deal that I've been working on for a while? And me and him had a long conversation, and he said one thing and I said another. Not one damn argument. Just, hey, let's just get into that a little bit more. And I think there's a level of respect that I have for him, that he's a smart dude. He's made it a long way. And I think he respects me the same way. So if I say something, he goes, let me think about that before I make a decision and judge. And so maybe I'm not, maybe, oh man, I don't want to use that word because it makes me sound like an asshole. Like walk in with a certain level of respect for that person.
Yeah.
Because they are human and they're doing the best they can in that moment. Well, like, that's something that we need to learn. Everybody
makes the decision based on, you know, their understanding and their knowledge in the moment. Mm-hmm. And we've got to meet them where they are. And then, so.
Yeah. But and I can tell you like the difference is like with some of our maybe newer, younger partners that have not been as well-versed in business is like, we'll have an argument and they'll argue with me and their argument is absolutely unfounded. I know they're wrong. Kind of like that seller, right? Mm-hmm. I know you're wrong. I can 100% prove it 100 million times.
But are we trying to be
right, or are we trying to be rich?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so I have actually like I have emotionally
what was that word?
Olivia's trying to fight today. So I have emotionally lost my ever loving on a business partner before. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's showing up there. It's showing up in your real estate. It's showing up in places. So it's really coming back to that beginner's mind of you may actually have to practice strategic incompetence.
Mm. Oh, yeah. No, so, Dan Martell talks about strategic incompetence a lot. Mm-hmm. And so maybe just be curious the whole time.
Yeah.
Like instead of saying I know, just start going, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I really want to know.
Because let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. If I would, when you asked me those questions at the beginning of this, if I would have told you anything that you've self-discovered, how would that went over with you?
So since we're discussing my ego, likely not well.
And would it make a difference?
I think my walls probably would have been put up, like, because we all, like, you feel this, like, when you're talking to someone and somebody's talking at you and telling you exactly what you're doing wrong, you're emotionally, like, that wall starts going up, right?
So can you, Connor, will you do this with me? You may have to move the camera. Will you stand up? Sure. Okay, cool.
I'm in my late gear, by the way, guys, so don't judge. Oh. Olivia is in some gear. I'm going to show what that is.
Yeah, so, you actually, saying I'm in my summer shorts. So,
Olivia's pulling that stay-at-home camera worker where it's like not wearing pants.
Whatever. Yeah. No, these are cute.
Sure they are.
These are my boat shorts, even though you didn't invite me to the boat. Okay, so.
You want to come? You can.
Okay. Lean against me.
Why would you do that?
Okay. What did you just do?
I depended on you.
You came closer to me.
Oh, okay.
Now, lean against me. And when I lean back, what happens?
You push me away. That was kind of mean.
And
it felt very cold.
Was your whenever I pushed on you, what was your automatic? What did you really want to do?
Oh, I wanted to push back. Like I really want to do that. Yeah. Hey, you're pushing me on balance. Yeah.
So when you were with that, and this is for everybody, right? But when we argue with somebody, what we're literally doing is I push and you push, and now we're at a standstill. If I come from curiosity and understand and don't push back, so push.
Okay.
And he's arguing, and I'm staying for curiosity. Guess what? Now we're closer.
Closer. Yeah. So we just get curious.
You got to stay curious. Get with them.
It really felt that way. Actually, in that moment, I was like, I've eaten since I brushed my teeth. Poor girl.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So because this is the interesting thing is, I didn't tell you anything that you don't know. Mm-hmm. You self-discovered, and now you can choose to do something different or keep doing the same thing, keep getting the same result.
Yeah. So I think that this is going to be a really good episode for people to watch in full, because I think they're about to see the power. This was not planned, by the way. No. Absolutely not planned. I intended to talk about some other things today.
Yeah, well, the first thing, so normally when I coach, I have certain things in front of me, and you notice when we first started this, like I wasn't expecting him to go, so I was going to my stuff, and then I decided to stay in a beginner's mind and just be with you.
Yeah, and so if you're curious about what coaching does, I think this was a really good representation of like high-level coaching, self-discovery, and how do we go win. So just so everybody knows, like you can get a great coach for 30 minutes a week. I don't know how long your sessions are. I haven't actually asked about Olivia's package, but I'm just going to give y'all like a roundabout 30 minutes to an hour a week at somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a month. And if what she just said to me worked, one of those appointments, like if she could have helped me convert one of those 3 appointments, if I would have utilized my resources correctly, and maybe I could have in the moment went back and rescued one, that would have been, a $5,000 to $7,000 sale for the company. So if that conversation right there lands me 2 deals this year, which by the way, I go on 5 to 10 appointments a week. So what's the odds that it's going to get me 1, 2, 3 additional per month? And now my $1,000 to $1,500 investment now grosses my company $10,000 to $15,000 more a month. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, what coaching's there for. Alivia Roberts, ladies and gentlemen, everybody give her a round of applause.
Yeah. So on that note, thank you for that. And I do, if you guys are interested, reach out to me. I have right now I'm at 5 individual spots that are available. And then we have some group coaching pieces. So don't go it alone. Mm-hmm. It's like having a business partner that is not coming from a place of judgment. It is literally my job is to find out where you are and help you get to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. I had actually, and I'll say this, not those. So I'm coaching this one guy and he's young and he came onto the call and he hadn't done what he was supposed to do and very defensive. He didn't even realize he was defensive, but he was expecting me, because I hold people accountable. He was expecting me to almost like a parent. Mm-hmm. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. I said, hold on. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your mama. Mm-hmm. My job is to figure out what prevented you from doing those things that you said you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And was it that really wasn't important to you? Or was it, or was there something? And there was somebody threatened to sue him that week and he was dealing with some stuff and yet he had all this angst and unnecessary. And so we were able, and he got off the phone going a whole different perspective. And the next week he comes, he has done the things that he needed to do. He was actually happy with his work. Mm-hmm. So it's, yes, I'm going to hold you accountable, but I'm not your mama and I'm not your daddy. Mm-hmm. My job is to discover what's preventing you. Now, sometimes, and you see with, Harrison and I have a pretty good relationship. Sometimes you'll see me push, and I have pushed him to actual anger.
She's pushed me to the point where I didn't want to talk to her again.
Yeah. So. But it's coming from a place of love, and that's where, and then the person recognizes it and comes back, and then we go to next. But it's not because you're mad at me. It was mad because there was something that I was peeling an onion back, and you saw something. Yeah. And it's very much I can't tell you how often with my coach I'm he's stupid. Right. And you go, okay, that was my ego showing up. That was right. It was actually something I said. Let me grow. Yeah. So, but yeah, so if you are interested in knowing more, hit me up. And I think this is also, I'm super glad we had these conversations because I can't wait to see your next.
Yeah, we'll roll. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in for us. See ya.
Let's go.